Mesdames et messieurs,
The greatest festival of our contemporary society, the Olympic Games, is about to begin.
This is going to be close.
Oh! They're all completely gassed! They've given it everything on the global bucket! Oh, yeah! No! Oh!
Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. But that is an Olympic championship.
Ready.
Bonjour and welcome to day 15 of the Paris 2024 Olympics on Keep the Flame Alive, the podcast for fans of the Olympics and Paralympics. I am your host, Jill Jarris, coming to you from the main press center at Paris 2024, joined as always by my lovely co-host, Alison Brown. Alison, bonjour, comment ça va?
Bonjour. Are you sure it's not day 1500?
Again, feels long, and then it's like, oh no, they're done tomorrow.
I know. It is that so long, so much, and then we've hit closing ceremonies, and we don't quite know what to do with ourselves.
I know, and it's almost like, no, I don't want it to be over. There's an element, I know you're looking at me like, are you serious? What is wrong with you? Because it's been a slog. We knew that the summer games were going to be bigger and more, but man, they have been a slog and they've been tough.
Right, and the logistics issues and the heat and the safety issues have all compounded that 3 weeks of intensity.
Yes. So you know how the Paralympics always say, well, the Olympics are the people who get all the problems out of the way and we can have fun. Let's hope that works for us for the Paralympics too.
Well, I do have to say that when I went back to some venues, the artistic swimming venue being one of them, the signage for the media entrance did improve from the first time I went to the second time I went. And the avenue I had to take to the press tribune was much more clearly laid out. So even within a venue, within the context of the games itself, there were some improvements. And then there was today, and I'll get to that.
Oh, no. Well, we do have a fun fact in the follow-up file for you. Yesterday, Germany won they won bronze in the women's 4x100 meter relay, and listener Brian pointed out that Alexander Burkhardt, who was part of that 4x100 team, becomes just the 7th athlete ever to medal at both a summer and winter Olympics. She also won silver in bobsled, the two women, at Beijing 2022. So that is a very cool fun fact. Let's begin the baguette.
And speaking of baguettes, I had a fun trip today involving baguettes.
I know. I'm very excited about hearing about this because there was a special invitation from the Paris Media Center, and you jumped on it, which was great.
I did. So what has been fun is we get these random emails that say, "Oh, we're doing this press tour. Would you like to get credentialed for it?" To which I say, "Wait a second. There's food involved. I am on it." So this was a visit with the baker for the Olympic Village. So those chocolate muffins have gone viral, particularly because of Norwegian swimmer Henrik Christensen. So they did an event today in the village, in the outer cafe, so we still didn't get into the dining hall, of the baked goods.
Oh.
And this wasn't just a meet and greet with Tony Doré, who is the chef. He's the head baker.
Nice.
And he made sure everyone knew he was le chef of the
Okay.
bakers. He was very insulted when the Sodexo man called him one of the bakers. He said, "No, le chef." I was like, "Okay, Tony, take it down a baguette." And we got to sample the chocolate muffins.
Were they good? Were they worth the...
No, that's not true. They were good. But man, were they sweet and chocolatey and heavy.
Really?
It was very intense. And I was joking with one of the other reporters there, and I said, "Oh, this is very sweet." And he said, "Yes, I didn't really enjoy it." I said, "I'm American and I didn't enjoy it that much." Because our food does tend to be sweeter.
Yes.
And have certain stronger, especially a chocolate flavor. It's a cupcake.
Oh, okay.
It's really a cupcake in the shape of a muffin.
Okay.
Like the texture was more cupcakey than muffiny.
Okay.
And there was a filling inside that was not Nutella. It was fudgy.
Oh, okay.
So we got to eat some cookies, which Evie Liebfarth, our rower, our paddler, loved the cookies. She posted about the cookies. Cookies were quite good,
Oh, nice.
but also felt a bit like biting into a stick of butter. But they also were talking about how the bakery is unique to the Paris Village. Usually baked goods are brought in.
Oh,
They're
okay.
shipped in frozen and they're not produced on site. So having a bakery on site in the village is unique to Paris, and they make like 900 baguettes a day. Wow. And thousands of these muffins and cakes and all kind and cookies and the Sodexo woman also mentioned she was so surprised at how the treats went over with the athletes because she expected them to have a healthy diet.
Oh, come on.
But you've got distance swimmers who need, remember the Michael Phelps 10,000 calories
Yes.
a day. So you got 400 calories of a chocolate muffin.
Not bad.
And Muffin Man, Henrik Christensen, was at the event, available for interviews. And he talked a lot about how, yes, it's fun that his role as the Muffin Man, the lover of the chalky muffs, has taken off on social media, but that it's more important that people learn about these athletes, other sides of them, that they're not just these robots, that they do love a good chalky muff.
And I appreciate that.
Also at this event, admiring the muffins, Le Frige. In our photographs, there is a picture of moi at Le Frige.
Ooh, very nice.
And then I sat in, because they didn't kick me out, I sat in the courtyard on the giant screen in the cushy lounge chairs and watched the end of the marathon.
Very nice.
And the village was so lovely this morning. It was sunny. It was a little cool. There was a breeze coming off the river. And I could see how people could just be comfortable in the village, which I didn't get that experience the first time I was there when it was so packed.
Gotcha. And that makes sense. So, not +1 for the muffin, but +1 for the atmosphere.
Absolutely.
Very nice. Well, I'm glad you got there.
I'm glad I got to sample some things.
Speaking of finding things, I found Pierre today.
Oh, you did? Did you take a picture with Pierre?
I did take a picture with Pierre.
Is that going to be our Patreon picture of the day?
No, the Patreon picture of the day is how I was scheduling things to give you a behind the scenes, but I can, I might put Pierre up for everybody. I was walking around Arena Sud trying to get into weightlifting.
Oh.
And
Which building was it in?
6.
Oh, yeah. That's a hike. 'Cause you got to go up the hill.
Yeah, you got to go up the hill. And that point, which I may have had to go up the hill twice, I wanted to go to volleyball because it was the men's final, and my metro train was full of fans, and we get to the stop, and it's the end of the line, and the driver comes on, and he says all in French, this is the end of the line, take all your stuff, bonne journée, et allez au bleu. And then he says everything in English except for Go France.
He left that part out.
Yeah, I know. It was so funny. So all these French fans are going, and there's a volunteer on the megaphone outside the arena saying like allez les bleus, and there's some Polish fans who are like la polne polone and trying to get the megaphone from the volunteers so they could get everyone to cheer for Poland. That was fun, and I was like, yeah, that would be fun to go to. There would be a lot of monster blocking. It would be crazy in there. But I went to weightlifting, and we'll get to that later because that was still a good choice. But excuse me, very happy to see Pierre. And I didn't. He was walking with a suitcase. He was walking down the hill. I'm walking up the hill, and I'm like, "Oh, Pierre!" He shook my hand.
Oh, he did. So you had a nicer Pierre than I did.
Because I was just like, Pierre, I found you.
Today.
And yeah, he shook my hand and like, oh, photo? Said, of course.
Today, and I can't remember what event I was at. I was at Break-In. My Pierre was very young. Like, my Pierre was much too young. It was very young Pierre.
But not too bad. Also, in the cultural segment, we'd like to inform you that we have a new t-shirt for sale in our TeePublic shop. You can become an official vacuumer of Keep the Flame Alive. It is our official vacuum uniform shirt, if you would like. We might have some other designs available in the vacuum line, but for now we have the official vacuumer. So please, if you have enjoyed vacuum discussions, and I've got another floor update later on too. This was
Nice.
exciting. And if you've enjoyed all the vacuum talk, which, why you tune into an Olympics podcast for the vacuum talk
And the toilet time.
why, I don't know, but here we are. So if you've enjoyed that and would like to show your vacuum solidarity or be part of our vacuum team, check out our TeePublic shirt. We will have a link to that in the show notes. Also, some news. The closing ceremonies apparently has been retooled umpteen times.
Well, we did come across the change in schedule because each time I looked, we were making some other plans for tomorrow. And I said, oh, it starts at 2000 hours. And then all of a sudden it started at 2100 hours. And at the last minute, I mean, that was in the last few days, the times have changed. So I am not surprised that there have been edits, shall we say.
Yes, so they have retooled a lot of things, learning from the controversy over the opening ceremonies. Apparently, they want to take away any potential controversy in the closing ceremonies. This is according to The Guardian. So we'll see what happens. I've also heard that the LA segment will be a little longer than a handover segment tends to be.
And you also heard that Tom Cruise is involved.
Yes, probably. Because
That's
he is
just
here.
rumor. He is here. He was at the basketball game tonight, or the
I think so.
football
I think
game?
he's been at beach volleyball too.
Okay, he's been around. So he's floating around Paris. May show up tomorrow during the closing ceremony.
Exactly. Okay, what volunteer job or officiating job would you like to do today?
You know, I can't believe I haven't chosen this yet. I want to be the medal helpers with the cool outfits. I never said it, how great they look in person, how fantastic they're doing. I would not want to be the person handling the posters because giving the people posters on the podium is stupid.
Right.
I want to be the medal tray with my LVMH tray, looking sharp in my fly high-waisted pants and cap.
And we've got the men's basketball medal ceremonies going on right now, and I have seen some of these basketball players eyeing that tray like they want one for their home.
Well, wouldn't you?
I know they are gorgeous.
Do you think some of the medal helpers smuggle them under their loose-fitting pants?
I doubt it. I'm sure somebody carefully counts those every single night. But yes, the 1924 people are really nice. And I mean, the posters are an interesting thing. And we
It's
have
a
not,
choice.
Yes. We haven't been to Champions Park, so we don't know if they get their friesies.
I believe they do because I've seen the photos, but I'm also not entirely sure that they do.
But we know that the metal friesies exist because I went to the factory and they're making them. But it's kind of sad to not have that tradition on the medal stand too, or on the podium. Yeah.
The box is just odd because I know a lot of spectators and a lot of television viewers had no idea. Why are they giving them a box? I mean, I understand wanting to get rid of the flowers. I mean, they did that in Beijing
Right.
where they made the knitted flowers.
Which actually, when I was at Villette yesterday, somebody had a one of those crocheted bouquets from Beijing in their display case.
Nice. So that was, in terms of sustainability, it makes sense to not hand out bouquet after bouquet after bouquet of flower.
Mm-hmm.
But the box is so awkward and odd looking.
And probably does not pack well. Still also does not pack well because
Right.
it probably could get crushed.
And then if you get multiples, what do you do with multiple posters? I guess they'll be up on eBay. I'm sure we'll see them up on eBay.
Anyway, I went to weightlifting today, and I have to tell you, the loaders are the hardest working group in the games.
No doubt.
There's a team of 4 of them, and there are 2 who put weights on either side of the bar. There's 1 to wipe the bar off, and another person who rolls the bar into place when everyone's done. So
I would like the rolling job because then you can't make a mistake.
right.
I would
Yeah,
be
yeah.
very
the
nervous about
adding
loading.
weight, the adding weight is high pressure. And then there's another person that has a Swiffer, just in case like somebody fell during their lift, then they have to Swiffer off the floor. And we have in the back there, in between times, there's another vacuumer to do the rest of the thing.
So there's the
So the-
sweeper and the vacuumer.
Yes, two different jobs. And once you get to the high weights, especially in the clean and jerk, there is a bar jack that comes out. It's a little thing on wheels, and it's got a long handle, so it kind of looks like a fertilizer spreader almost, maybe, but not as deep. So you have a little thin, not
Like a car
deep-
jack?
Yes, it's like a car jack. You put it under the bar, it lifts the bar up, so they can add the huge weight plates to it.
Right, because
You can't
normal people can't do that.
Right, right. So that's another interesting element. And I will tell you, these loaders would come out and they put some weight on, and they'd run back down. They were all fast, fast, fast. And then the announcer would be like, "And we have a weight change," because there was constant weight changes back. They never go back, but it was just like, "Oh, we're gonna add another 2 kilograms." They run out again. Okay, we're gonna add another kilogram on. They run back out. And every once in a while, you'd see them be like, "Come on, just pick some weight, dude."
Was it the same loaders the whole competition?
Yes.
Wow.
Well, and I was only there for one weight class.
But still.
But it's, so it's up the stairs, do their thing, down the stairs. Up the stairs, do the thing, down the stairs.
That
But
is
they were fantastic.
nice job.
All right. Everyone's favorite segment. Toilet talk.
I had a very quiet toilet day.
Oh, that's good.
So my day was uneventful because I was mostly here in the broadcast
okay.
in the media center.
Okay. So have you noticed in the media center, when we can choose bathrooms. There's bathrooms to the left and there's bathrooms to the right.
Yes.
And don't ask why, but I tend to go to the left on the bathroom.
I can tell you why. Because we used to always sit on that end of the room.
Right.
When we started, we sat on that end of the room, so that became your bathroom.
No, that's just in life.
Oh,
I
okay.
tend to go to the left. Ben has pointed this out to me.
But you're not left-handed, so that's a surprise.
No, but I had the apartment that I lived in when we met, the bathroom was on the left, and I'd come home, drop my bag, go to the left. And his apartment, the bathroom was on the left, so whenever I went there, it'd go to the left. And he's like, if I walked in and didn't go to the left, he'd tease me. So I just always go to the left. A couple days ago, I started going to the right. Have you gone to the right?
I usually go to the right.
They don't have issues with the lights going out in the stalls like they do in the left.
Oh, maybe I just you know what? Maybe subconsciously, that's why I started going to the right.
Because the left is like you sit on the toilet and you have to wave your arms around because every 2 seconds the light's turning off and you're in the dark. This, no problems whatsoever. It's amazing. But I did almost lock myself in at the Arena Sud press venue.
Yes. Yes.
It
Did
was
you?
so hard. I was so scared to be because it's not the biggest of stalls, and I have a big backpack, and there was some schmutz on the floor, so I'm trying to keep my backpack out of the schmutz. And I'm having problems nowadays with sometimes the locks turn, sometimes it's a bar that goes over a thing, and because again at artistic swimming,
It
it's
had
a
the
bar.
weirdest lock.
It was a round handle with a bar on the end, so you had to slide it.
but you would think turn because it's round.
Yes, and I kept turning the bar, and I was having problems with artistic swimming, but at Arena Sud in the main press center, so I went to Convention Center bathroom, which has been clearly marked for press only at this point,
Finally.
and the volunteers/staff have to go upstairs. I took pictures of this. They have to go up a big staircase in order to use the bathroom. And there was some poor guy was stuck sitting outside the bathrooms, but I think he was really manning a door that was next to the bathrooms that nobody needed to go through.
Yes, that was the man who I was so happy to see that day. and when I finally found the bathroom in the press center. I was like, oh, how did you get this job? You poor thing.
I know, but when I was stuck in the bathroom, I was glad he was there because I thought if I have to yell for help, maybe at least somebody is out there who can hear me. But I just couldn't get the lock undone, and it just was stuck, and you can't remember which way does it turn, and you turn it one way and it doesn't move, and you turn it the other way and you lock yourself in further. It was so scary.
You know, I think I told you that happened to me at the Paris Media Center, where I thought I was just going to die in there.
But that's at least a nice big bathroom.
That is, I wasn't stuck, and I figured if I started yelling, someone would hear me. But
Yes.
where the Arena Sud Media Center is, you're really just in this isolated hallway.
Yes.
And it's dark and dank, and you think you're going to die there.
Yeah. Yeah. But luckily, I'm here to tell the story. All right. Our Toilet Talk investigative series can only be brought to you by the listeners. And that is because we are an independent media outlet, which means we get independent funding, and a lot of that comes from listeners like you. So if you have enjoyed our Olympic coverage, we would love to see some support in the form of a donation. We've got a whole list of ways you can support the show. We have PayPal, we have Venmo, we have Buy Me a Coffee, and some other ways. If you'd like to become an ongoing patron of the show, we have a Patreon, and our patrons during Paris 2024 getting special exclusive content. Everyone who is a paid contributor gets a picture of the day, and those at the $5 a month and up level get videos. And I know I put one up today. I can't remember what it is.
We're lucky
Oh, you know what
day it is.
You know what it is, because Arena Sud is a fun place to be.
It is.
And it's a party there. And it's a party because there is a mobile DJ. And I put the mobile DJ up.
I had not noticed the mobile DJ.
This was the first time I saw him.
Arena Sud is a lot of fun just because the venues, there are several venues there, and it doesn't feel forced. It just naturally has become a meeting place for all these people going to different events.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to be there. It feels very Olympic to me. So, yes, there was a mobile DJ getting the party started today. So that was a lot of fun. So patrons got that look at what that was like. You can find all the ways to support us at flamealivepod.com/support. Thank you to everybody who has contributed so far. It really goes to keep our flame alive. It's helped with safety because we did not have budget for cabs, and our place that we are living in at the moment, we're almost out of there.
Almost done.
It's in a really crummy neighborhood, so it hasn't been safe to go home at night without being in a cab that can drop us off at the door. And so we appreciate those of you who have helped cover those rides, and those of you who continue to contribute so that we can keep this show going after Paris is over. All right, we got results.
Daily results. First one is artistic swimming, which
I got to go to. Very excited to see the duet free routine. This is the last night of competition, and I was really excited to see our Jackie Simoneau compete as well as Megumi Fields. The duets were interesting. I got there in time for some warm-up stuff, which was nice. There was a lot of bird themes going on. We had condors, we had phoenixes, we had flying birds. We had a lot of birds theme and a lot of screeching birds in the music. Enough that I went, I'm done with birds right now. I'm really done with birds.
It's sort of like my spoken word music from Rhythmic yesterday.
Yes. And what you talked about, the music sheets that we get access to and how the in-house announcer uses them to tell you things. I wish she would tell you the things beforehand, because what she does is, what happens is the team does their routine, and then when they're waiting for the scores, that's a great time for the in-house announcer to do filler commentary to tell you a little bit about the team or what they did. The problem is I would love to know what the theme of the routine is before going into the routine, and that would help you put two and two together, I think. So we did have Megumi Fields and her partner, Jamie Zarkowski. They did a routine to Dark Necessities by Red Hot Chili Peppers,
Oh,
which is actually one of my favorite Red Hot Chili Pepper songs. And you could tell how much they loved doing it. They did well, but they finished ninth in the routine. They went somewhat early, but not too early. And then Jacqueline Simoneau and Audrey Lamuth finished. They had a really great routine. They looked really good, in sync. Seeing Jackie compete in person.
no joke, right?
Oh
How
my
good
gosh, she is so good. Smile all the way across the venue. You can see it, and you could tell that Audrey is a younger swimmer, and that this was really good for her to get the Olympic experience, especially when they put so much difficulty into their routine. Putting that on such a young swimmer, champ to her for taking on that challenge and doing so well. And I know they really had struggled with synchronicity in the technical routine, and that put them at the bottom of the rankings, basically. But for such a young swimmer to take that on in a field that has some really there's so many talented countries.
and very experienced.
Yes. So, I mean, Mexico was at their third Olympics, I think, together as a team. So, hats off to you, Audrey. You did a great job. They finished third in their free routine, and so that gave them ninth place overall.
Pulling themselves up from 15th last
Yes.
night. And in a sport like artistic swimming, you see motion, but 6 places.
Yeah, it
In
was
one routine.
huge.
That-
They did so well. So, really, really happy for them. The headpieces were back. Everyone pretty much had a headpiece. So much for that.
No, that was in Rhythmic where I said the headpieces were gone.
Okay, sorry. But there were headpieces back here. I will say Netherlands did a Van Gogh routine, and their swimsuits were gorgeous. They had like the Starry Night kind of on one side, and I think they had the sunflower on another side. They were beautiful. One fun fact that we didn't have, there were 4 sets of twins in the top 5 after the first round of competition.
Well, you don't have to worry about matching physically if you're
I
swimming
know,
with your
I
twin.
So that was really interesting. The sets of twins are China and Austria, Netherlands, and Ukraine. And you could tell Ukraine also did a really funky routine. And did you watch this?
No.
I have to go back and find the music. They used some French music.
Did they use Moulin Rouge?
No.
Oh, thank
It was
goodness.
something that just went up, down, up, down. I have to find it. I think it's from a TV show. There's somebody, Mexico also did, used music from a very popular French movie that I didn't know, but the crowd knew it instantly and loved it. They did really well as well. So, and we had one bolero.
Thank goodness there's not, it is not a competition without a bolero. I had a Carmen yesterday at Rhythmic.
Wow.
So, yeah, you got to go with those themes. They're classics for a reason.
I know, and that was France who pulled out the bolero.
Surprising.
Yeah, it was surprising. Gold went to China, Wang Liu Yi and Wang Qiangyi. Silver went to Great Britain, Kate Shortman and Isabel Thorpe. They were thrilled. And then bronze went to Breya de Brouwer and Noortje de Brouwer from Netherlands. In athletics, we had the marathon this morning. Gold went to Tamarat Tola from Ethiopia. Silver went to Bashir Abdi from Belgium. And bronze went to Benson Kipruto from Kenya. You saw some of this.
I saw some of this after I had my muffin. So Tola got an Olympic record, which has stood, I believe, since 04 or 08.
Oh, wow.
So it's not a new record that tumbled this morning. So that was a big one. But the difference between gold and silver was 21 seconds. Wow. Difference between silver and bronze was 13 seconds. And the top 6 came in all within a minute of each other.
Wow, that is a big group at the front.
It's a big group at the front. And even the top 10, couple minutes, it was very quick for that top 10, 12 to come in. Usually they straggle out a little bit more. Mm-hmm. So nobody dominated this race. It was tight until the end. And it was, I think, comfortable temperatures, maybe a little warm, but nothing like we were dealing with in Tokyo. There was a nice breeze this morning. It was cool enough, I think, for them to run this comfortably, which makes sense. They end up with an Olympic record. But you gotta love an exciting finish in the marathon.
Yes, yes. Did you notice if people were out at all?
I was watching it on television, but it certainly looked like there were crowds
Good.
at the end, at the very least.
Very good. In the evening, we had another round of finals for athletics. In the men's high jump, gold went to Hamish Kerr from New Zealand.
Go Silver Ferns. Silver
Went to Shelby McEwen from USA. And bronze went to Mutaz Essa Barshim from Qatar. Now, there was a jump off for gold. So
yeah, you may remember from Tokyo that Barshim and Tamarini, I believe his name was, chose not to do a jump off and chose to both win gold. These two said, no, we want one winner.
Kerr won in the head-to-head duel. Barshim is medaled in his 4th consecutive games. So that's impressive. And McEwen is the first U.S. jumper to medal since Eric Kennard, who received his reallocated gold medal from London 2012 earlier this week. In the men's 800, we had Emmanuel Wanyonyi from Kenya won gold, Marco Arap from Canada won silver, and Jamel Shidati from Algeria won bronze. This was also a really tight match. Second place was 100th of a second behind gold, and bronze wasn't that far off either. In women's javelin, gold went to Japan's Kitaguchi Haruka, silver went to Joanne Van Dyke from South Africa, and bronze went to Nikola
Ogrednikova from Czechia. Oh, wait. Are they Czechia now? Yes, Czechia.
There you go.
I'm so proud of myself. But then I doubted myself because I'm like, wait, is that right?
In the women's 100-meter hurdles, this was also a race. Gold went to Masai Russell from U.S., silver went to Serena Samba Malaya from France, and bronze went to Jasmine Camacho Quinn from Puerto Rico. 0.03 seconds separated gold from bronze. So Russell was 100th second faster than the silver medalist, and bronze time was 300ths of a second after that. It was incredible. In the 5,000-meter final, gold went to Jakob Ingebrigtsen from Norway, silver went to Ronald Kimoy from Kenya, and bronze went to Grant Fisher from the U.S. Grant Fisher came back. He was way far back in the back, passed 3 runners in the final 50 meters to get the bronze. Jakob Ingebrigtsen, which we know him from the 1500, has moved up as well.
I was watching some of it here from the feed, and the announcers were saying of late he has been much more successful in this longer distance, so that maybe as he's aged, I mean, because he's so old, as he's aged, that the longer distance suits him better.
We find that with a lot of runners who move up from like the 10,000 to the marathon, that kind of thing. So maybe this is his progression. In the women's 1500, Faith Kipyegon is from Kenya, 3P gold medalist. Jessica Hull from Australia won silver, and Georgia Bell from Great Britain won bronze. And got a national record. In the men's 4x400 meter relay, gold went to USA with an Olympic record. Silver went to Botswana, and bronze went to Great Britain. Rai Benjamin
anchored this race. You know, usually he's a hurdler, and the commentators had a lot to say about, yeah, he's a hurdler, but man, did he know how to run this 400 flat and run it well.
Right. He held off Botswana by 0.1 seconds.
So that was anchored by Letsili Tebogo, who won the 200.
Oh, yeah.
So these are Botswana's making a statement
Yes.
in athletics this time around.
Yes. And in the women's 4x400 meter relay, gold went to USA, silver went to Netherlands, and bronze went to Great Britain.
Femke Bol looked much better
Good.
in this race. And again, Sydney McLaughlin-Larone, known for hurdles, and then comes around and runs this gorgeous 400 flat.
Right, because she had been running the 400 in between Tokyo and Paris with the thought that perhaps she would do the double, and then decided to focus on hurdles and repeat in that and, get another world record.
Also want to mention gold medal for Connecticut, Alexis Holmes.
There you go. Nutmeg or...
Connecticution.
Oh, that's right. That's right. U.S.'s time was only 0.1 seconds off the world and Olympic record, which was set at Seoul 1988 by the Soviet Union.
That's got to be, other than Bob Beamon, the oldest Olympic record in athletics.
One of them.
I mean, to see a record from 88 is odd.
Right.
And surprising.
And I think one of the women's sprint races is back from there too, but there's not that many. We'll have to look at records in our off seasons. Great Britain overtook Ireland on the home stretch to take the bronze. In basketball, in the bronze medal game, Serbia beat Germany 93-83, and then USA beat France 98-87. This did not seem to be a question.
They seem to have decided that that the United States was not playing around. They were done with that little scare they had with Serbia, and they just came in saying, nope, not happening.
In beach volleyball, we had the men's finals night. Gold went to Amund and Helvig from Sweden, who beat Germany's Ehlers and Wickler 2-0. And then in the bronze medal, Mol and Sorum from Norway beat Sheriff and Ahmed from Qatar 2-0. So Sweden gets gold, Germany gets silver, and Norway gets the bronze. In boxing, we had more finals. Women's 57 kilogram, gold went to Chinese Taipei, Lin Yu Ting. Silver went to Poland's Julia Jeremeta, and bronzes went to Ezra Yildiz Karaman and Nesty Pedicio from Philippines. Chalking it up, Philippines, good for you. So, in the women's 75 kilograms final, gold went to Li Chiang from China. Silver went to Athenia Babechi Bailan from Panama. And bronzes went to Caitlin Parker from Australia and Cindy winner Janku Nagamba from the refugee team. We mentioned that the other night when they won. In the men's 57 kilogram final, gold went to Abdulmalik Kalokov from Uzbekistan. Silver went to Munarbek Saitbek Ulu from Kyrgyzstan. And bronzes went to Charlie Sr. from Australia and Javier Ibanez Diaz from Bulgaria. Do you think if Charlie Sr. has a son and then he names the child Charlie Sr., then you'd have Charlie Sr. Sr. and Charlie Sr. Jr.? Probably. Don't do that, Charlie Sr. Or Charlie Sr. Jr. to get Charlie Sr. Jr. the third. However that goes. And in the over 92 kilograms for the men, gold went to Bakhodir Yalalov from Uzbekistan. Silver went to Ayub Gaddafi Drissi El Asawi from Spain. And bronzes went to Jamilidini Abadou Moindza from France and Nelvi Rahman Tiafak from Germany. Oh, so Chinese Taipei got their first Olympic gold boxing medal. So that is a note for the books. In breakdancing, you went to the men's competition. I went to the men's competition. So today there was the men's marathon, as we mentioned. And then tonight there's the marathon Portu. So the marathon for everyone, which is, I think, still going on. Probably. It started at like 9 something in the evening. And then the 10K started maybe at 11. So what this meant was that there were many, many street closers. So I couldn't take the bus to La Place de Concorde. I had to take it to Grand Palais and then walk.
And as the driver kept telling me, or as the guide kept telling me, it's 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's not that far. I walked
not
the
that
reverse.
far.
I did the reverse walk yesterday.
Right. Okay. So I did make one wrong turn.
Okay, that's a half an hour out of your way just with one wrong turn. I can tell you that.
Yes, it was. Because all along this route were road closures. And not just road closures for cars, but road closures for pedestrians. And I would get to the end of a street that I was allowed to go down, but not continue past the end of that street. So I cannot tell you, at least 3 or 4 times, I was allowed onto the street, but then not allowed off the street. So I had to turn around and walk back.
They were toying with you. They were like, "We will let her go through," and then laugh when she comes back.
I think they were. That 5-minute walk, and I am not exaggerating because I timed it, took me 65 minutes.
Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry.
And honestly, my mistake should have been a 10-minute mistake.
Oh yeah. No, I feel you. I feel you. It's like when I got stuck in Plasta La Concord, I couldn't get out for 45 minutes.
So I finally get there, and so now I'm cranky
Yes.
because it got hot again.
Yes.
And Place de la Concorde is the third ring of hell when it comes to the heat. You just bake. So I get over to the venue, I get up into the stands, and the tribune is just in the blazing sun.
Yeah.
There is no shade at all. The seats are black.
Yes.
Whose idea was that?
Somebody who doesn't like people.
So I get to my seat, and there's no relief sitting in this seat. And I have to put everything under the desk because I can't take my computer out because it'll burst into flames.
Yes.
My water bottle that I had sitting on the table for a few minutes got too hot to touch. So I had to put that under the seat, and now I had hot water. It was useless.
Oh, gross.
So finally, the competition starts, and the MCs just keep yelling at me. Not me personally, but there was so much yelling going on in breakdancing.
Yeah, well, they were hyping things.
Stop yelling.
You've already had a bad day. This is not good. And I'm guessing you did not sit by my friends.
No,
you couldn't.
No,
at that
because
point.
they were in the shade.
Oh, really? We were all in the sun yesterday.
No, there was a section of the press tribune that was in the shade that nobody was sitting in. And I said, "What? No, press can't sit there. But it's the press tribune in the shade, but nobody could sit there." I don't know why. So they're yelling at me, and all they kept saying was all the way from. So the
yes,
dancer all the way from Australia, the dancer all the way from China. And I'm like, not everything is all the way from.
I did notice they said that yesterday because then they had to say all the way from France.
Right.
It didn't make sense.
And I'm like, we're in France. He's not all the way from France. I mean, maybe he's from the South Coast. I don't know. So then finally we actually get to the dancing all the way from China.
Oh, wait. Who did your trois coupe? Did you know? Because I saw
did
that.
not recognize my trois coupe.
Because it was somebody. It was somebody hip-hoppy.
Yes, it was a winner of France's Got Talent.
Oh, okay.
I think it was the first. I think that seems familiar. And he did a little move.
Yes, he did
where
some
he
moves.
hit the stick and then did a little body roll.
Yeah.
And the judges did their dance again.
Okay.
Appreciated that.
It's not, I mean, I would have loved the artistic swimming judges to dive in.
Can you imagine the gymnastics coming out in their beaded outfits?
Oh my gosh,
swimming their poop around.
Yeah, beaded officials' blazers.
So
They twirl the hoop.
they're finally dancing. And honestly, after 2 battles, I was done.
Really?
I was tired of getting yelled at. I was tired of baking in the sun. I was not enjoying the dancing because it was a whole bunch of mess and then a few power moves. That is how it looked.
Okay.
We do some, I guess, which top rock. The women were much cleaner
Okay.
to watch. Of course, I wasn't baking when I was watching the women, but it felt like the men were just power moves and mess.
Interesting.
Did not like the battle aspect. I found it it's a show. It's not a sport.
Okay.
And that doesn't mean it's not difficult. It's extremely difficult. Doesn't mean it's not entertaining, and doesn't mean a breakdancing competition isn't appropriate. But it felt all personality and very little substance.
Interesting. Because I did catch a little bit of it here on the TV, and I noticed that the men could do more difficult moves just because of the strength factor.
I also saw way too many naked torsos.
Oh, okay.
You know, because they don't tuck their shirt in and they don't wear a tight shirt. They wear these big, giant, loose shirts, and they're spinning on their heads, and then their shirt gets stuck around their head. And I'm like, put your shirt on. I did not come here for this kind of show.
LA 2028, if anybody is listening, please invest a little bit of money into audience sunscreens.
It would
or
not
visor or awnings or something.
It would not have been difficult, like we've said a million times, because there is a shade over, because this was the 3x3, and they just didn't make it big enough.
No, yes. So there is like a circus tent look that covers the field of play, but it doesn't cover anything else.
And as I found in 3x3, that doesn't keep the sun off that field of play depending on the time of day.
Right.
So
Right.
it was clearly temporary venues. We don't care, so we're not putting the money in.
No, and then you'll look out from the press tribune and look at the rest of Place de la Concorde, which is kind of busy, and it would have been much more fun, I think, and would have been a great place to hang out if it wasn't so hot, because people would just crowd under the
mini shades.
The mini shades, because there were a few little areas where you could crowd under. We had some rain, so we had to use the tarps that were on every desk had a roll of plastic tarp that you had to put over your stuff so that you didn't get your stuff didn't get soaked. And you know, some people would be sitting in stands to watch. I don't know if they had a special ticket to sit in the stands or they just wanted to sit and watch, but they were baking too, even if they're watching on a screen. So there was. And Place de la Concorde is just dusty. It's just a dirt-packed, gravelly area, and you just get dirty. And it was. I don't know how much fun it was for people who were hanging out at the urban park. It was fun because they could watch people warm up, and
Right,
that was cool.
And at breaking, they had a group of people sitting on the floor surrounding the stage, which I thought was interesting and
Yes.
weird, but
Yes.
fun.
Yeah.
To be that close.
So we'll see. I don't know.
And
Was the crowd into it?
yes, to an extent. Honestly, and I know a good amount of 80s hip hop music. Every song sounded the same to me. I heard several, and I said, I'm not hearing the difference in the beats. I'm not hearing anything recognizable, which I would expect because, you know, my knowledge stops at like 1987. But I wasn't hearing something that would get the crowd more into it, and I think would inspire the dancers more, like a little more variety.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a disappointing experience overall.
Sorry to hear that.
That's okay.
But how did our boy Jeffro do?
Yeah, so Jeffro did quite well. He made it to the quarterfinals.
Nice.
Where he lost to the eventual silver medalist, Danny Dan, from France. And the names bothered me. But not
Okay.
having real names, I just wanted to say to them, stop with the stupid names. Just tell me your name, which I know is cranky old lady.
Well, and some of them used their first name, basically.
Victor.
We've
Sunny. I mean, her first name isn't Sunny, it's actually Grace, but everyone calls her Sunny. So, but logistics. The names really bother me. I was like, what does your mother call you? Can we go by that, please? Because no other sport does this.
Roller derby.
That's not in the Olympics.
Well, I'm
But
sorry.
medal finals. Gold went to Canada, Phil Wizard. Silver went to France, Danny Dan. And the United States won bronze. That was Victor. You know what? Just go spin on your head. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, so what I'm curious about is, what do people think of this at home? We have some conversation going on in the Facebook group, but I really want to know kind of what the take on it is in the media, in social media, beyond poor Raygun's outfit. I did notice that
Oh yeah, the Australian also wore the shirt and pants. He didn't wear the shirt that had the collar on it, and he didn't wear the hat, but he had the green and yellow too.
which one, I don't mind if they wore the kid, but why didn't they give him a little baggier pant? Or keep the shirt untucked, or do a French tuck or something if you don't want to uncover
Well, no,
your
there's
torso.
no French tuck in men's breaking because we all have to see their torso, and the shirt has to end up around their neck as they're spinning around on their heads. See, I don't like a sport that makes me feel like a cranky old lady. And this really made me feel like, get off my lawn.
Okay. Get off your breaking pad.
Go put your
But yeah,
shirt on.
we'll have to see what the feel is and the vibe, because I got a kind of an okay vibe in the venue. What I loved in the venue, and I saw some of these people there today, is the old school hip hop people who came to be in the audience, and not necessarily household names, but people who were really important, obviously, or into hip hop in the earlier years. And to see them be so excited, I had a whole row of them that I could see high-fiving everybody as they came off.
Oh, see, I didn't see any of that.
Okay, because I had seen some other women in the audience on the feed today, and that I loved to have that vibe there and to see them love the fact that their art / sport was on a world stage and the world was paying attention to it. That was really cool. So we'll see. I'm curious because there's scuttlebutt that LA could throw it in, but I don't know how popular it was. Because I think the vibe I felt was people kind of dug it, but they kind of
Like,
didn't
they won't
get
miss it if it's not there.
Not that I'm sure. I thought that maybe it was more successful at the Youth Olympic Games in Argentina, but I also thought that part of the problem was the heat and being out in the sun, and people are just not. That's not a great venue area. It's hard to be there.
And it went on a very long time. The competition was very long, and that also took away from it.
So we shall see, Breakin'. Are you one and done, or could you come back? We don't know. Canoe Sprint. We had a lot of finals today. In the men's C1 1,000 meters, Martin Fuchsa from Czechia won gold. Izakias Quiros from Brazil won silver, and Sergei Tarnovici from Moldova won bronze.
Moldova's at least got 4 medals that we've said.
Something like that in Canoe Sprint. Good on you, Moldova.
Nice.
Way to have a sport. In the men's K1 1,000 meter finals, gold went to Josef Dostal from Czechia, silver went to Adam Varga from Hungary, and bronze went to Balint Kopash from Hungary. In the women's K1 500 meter finals,
Oh, geez.
gold went to Lisa Carrington from New Zealand.
Go silverest of silver ferns.
Silver went to Tamara Chipes from Hungary, and bronze went to Emma Astrand Jorgensen from Denmark.
I watched these last 2 races that we're going to talk about, and Chipis gave her a race.
Yeah.
Lisa Carrington did not walk away with this.
Interesting.
It was a nice race. Apparently, Chipis is not a good starter.
Oh.
But she had a very good start.
Ooh.
So it really looked for a while there that Carrington was not going to pull this out. But of course, she and her gorgeous braids just won another gold medal because that's what she does.
In the women's C1 200 meter final, gold went to Katie Vincent from Canada, silver went to our Nevin Harrison from USA, and bronze went to Bronze went to Yaroslavl Ciro Dubois from Cuba.
This was a photo finish, and I really thought Nevin had won when I watched it. So the margin of victory was 100th of a second.
Wow.
And it was a while before they called this race.
Wow.
I say a while, but for these races, usually there's no question. You have the winner. And they were sitting there and waiting and paddling over, and who won. So it was as close could be.
In diving, we had the men's 10-meter platform final. Also, I got to see some diving board maintenance go on at artistic swimming. Like, they took the whole plank off
Oh,
of
were
the
they taking it
springboards.
apart?
They put them back on,
Oh, okay.
but I don't know if they were like oiling things underneath. I don't know how that works, but they had a lot of people around fixing diving boards today. In the men's 10-meter platform, gold went to Chao Yang from China. Silver went to Tamai Rikuto from Japan, and bronze went to Noah Williams from Great Britain.
China has swept the diving golds.
In football, we had the women's gold medal game today. USA beat Brazil 1-0. This was a very physical game. They had 19 fouls in just the first half. So nobody scored until US got their goal in the 57th minute. And there was added time, as is per usual for most games. We've had the one that had no added time because it was just a rout. But in the 4th minute of added time, goalkeeper Alison had a massive save, and that kept the victory sealed. So gold for USA and our Emily Sonnet, silver for Brazil, and bronze for Germany. In golf, we had the final round of the women's golf tournament. Gold went to New Zealand's Lydia Ko.
Go Silver Ferns. Having a nice games, my Silver Ferns.
They are having a nice games, and this is a really good moment for Lydia Ko. We'll get to that in a second. Esther Hensleit from Germany won the silver, and Lin Chiu Janet from China won the bronze. So if you remember, after 3 rounds, Ko and Switzerland's Morgan Matreau, who has been on our leaderboard pretty much the whole tournament,
time.
They were tied at 9 under par. In the opening 5 holes, Matreau went to 5 over par. Ko also bogeyed, but then got some birdies that gave her a 4-shot lead with 9 holes to go. Hensley got within 1, but Ko managed to hold out and get the victory. She has a full set of medals now. She's
I love a set.
You love the set. Only golfer to medal in every games since golf's return. This only golfer, men or women. Also, she earned the final point she needed to qualify to get into the LPGA.
Ladies Professional Golf Association.
She also earned the final point she needed to qualify for the LPGA Hall of Fame, which is a huge deal. She's only the 35th inductee and the first one from New Zealand. So thank you, listener Patrick from Chicagoland, and also listener Brian, who sent in that fun fact, because that was a really good story that happened over on the golf field. And, I could have gone if you wouldn't have killed me.
For a story like this, and for one of my Kiwis, that I would find acceptable.
Okay.
I'm really being cranky about sports today.
Yeah. It's okay. It's all right. One
I'm
more
not
day.
cranky about handball. I liked handball.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
I didn't watch it.
Oh, okay. So we had the women's tournament ended today. In the bronze medal match, Denmark beat Sweden 30-25. And in the women's gold medal game, Norway beat France 29-21. I believe that means we have a new Olympic champion. Gold to Norway, silver to France, and bronze to Denmark.
I would have much rather been indoors watching handball, being so happy, than baking in the sun, getting yelled at break.
Very true. When you finally get there after an hour of being lost. In an hour, it's horrible when the hour of being lost is really, you're within like a quarter of a mile.
Every time I looked at my phone to recalibrate where I was, it told me I was within 11-minute walk for nearly an hour.
Oh, boy. Modern pentathlon, we had the women's competition early round. Jessica Davis-Savner finished 14th in the semifinals, does not move on to the finals, which are tomorrow. We had the men's individual final. Gold went to Ahmed El-Gendi from Egypt. Silver went to Sato Taishu from Japan, and bronze went to Giorgio Milan from Italy. First gold medal for Egypt of these games. Also the first time an African has won gold in modern pentathlon. I mean, this is a really European dominant sport, so it's amazing to see someone from Africa win. And I know
And
Egypt
the silver medal also to
Yes,
Japan.
yes.
This is not a European podium.
Yes, it's very fascinating. It's nice to see these other countries come up. I know Egypt's been pretty strong, but now we finally have a winner here. He was, and he won silver at Tokyo, so he stepped up. He was one of just 6 competitors to have a clear round in the horse jumping stage today. And this is the last Olympics for the horse jumping portion. He does say he plans to continue on to LA 2028 and learn how to do the race with the obstacle course that's being brought in to replace the equestrian portion. We're going to probably see a lot of retirees from after these games in this sport, just because the obstacle course racing uses a totally different part of your body than the rest of the sport, basically.
And not only retirees because they don't want to change training, retirees because they don't have the skills for that.
Necessarily.
Or was the equestrian portion their strongest element, so without it they're no longer competitive.
Right, and a lot of people get to the sport through the riding segment, and they love the riding segment, so there's a lot of athletes who are really upset of the changes that have happened. In rhythmic gymnastics, we had the group all-around final. Ooh, gold went to China. This was interesting.
They were an impressive team when I saw them. And I said this, I think, with artistic swimming, very physically uniform.
Oh, okay.
There's a uniformity in these Chinese teams that produces some beautiful images and beautiful lines.
Silver went to Israel, and bronze went to Italy. One thing we did not mention that we both noticed about rhythmic and just totally forgot to say on the show.
So when the athlete is introduced and walking out, we saw several of these girls have a towel in their hand, which makes sense. You want to dry your hands and dry the apparatus before you go out there. And they very aggressively threw the towel on the floor.
Yes.
And it was this release, and I understand where it comes from, this release of tension and this, I'm going to go do it. It's kind of like when the divers throw the towels, because some of them are...
But they toss them. They don't,
no, some of them are aggressive. Some of them are aggressive. But this was like, I will kill you now, this my hoop, and threw the towel down. And it must be something culturally in the sport, because several of these girls did that same move. So
I thought it was hilarious.
It was once you caught on to it, it was like, oh, is she going to throw the towel?
In sport climbing, the women's boulder and lead had their finals today. Gold went to Janja Garnbret from Slovenia. Silver went to our Brooke Rabatu from USA. And bronze went to Jessica Pilz from Austria. Rabatu was only 0.4 points behind after the boulder segment, but Garnbret outscored her on the lead by 12.1 points to seal the win.
Silver medals, nothing to shake a stick at.
No, and I got
pound a stick at.
Well, and that was good.
Thanks.
I do have to say the silver medals with the iron in them are beautiful.
They're slick looking. I can't remember if I liked the medals originally or if I was poo-pooing because was I in a bad mood that day and I didn't like the medals. But up close and seeing so many of them, I remember I didn't like them because I thought they looked like cupcake wrappers.
Yes.
And I still hold that, but that iron piece is really sharp looking.
It is. It's very, very cool.
But it's not like the Sochi medals where you barely could see what color they were.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You really can see it's a gold medal.
Do you mean the Albertville medals or the Sochi medals
too? No, the Sochi medals were all stone except for the one corner.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then the Albertville were the
Crystal.
giant glass and just the little piece.
Yeah.
But these, it's mostly the metal with this nice center shape of the Eiffel Tower.
Yes. They call these the Jeux Olympiques here in France. That's how they say Olympic Games. It's like the Jeux Old Grumpy Lady over here.
I don't mean to be. You know why I'm upset? And we had forgotten about this. They don't have the flying taxis. Remember they promised me flying taxis?
They did.
And they canceled them. And I could have really used one today.
Too bad you couldn't hop on that balloon. cauldron thing.
I have a cauldron story that I've been holding.
Oh, wow.
Sounds like a good place to tell it. It's really short.
Yeah, go ahead.
The other day I wanted to see the cauldron.
Yes.
So I went to the entrance.
Yes.
Because they promised us a media line.
Yeah.
No.
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 Did we have to sign up?
No. The media line's around the corner. Went around the corner.
From which corner?
Exactly. A
Three of
gauche or
them?
a droite. So I went around what I thought was the corner she pointed to. There was nothing there. So I went around the other corner, and there was a person, and they said, no, you go to the main entrance. They sent me here. So I went back, asked somebody else, and they said, no, you have to go into La Place de la Concorde media entrance to get to the media entrance of the...
Oh, good luck with that.
Right. So I was going to Place de la Concorde anyway. So I went in and I asked them, and they said, no, it's all the way on the other side. So I never saw the cauldron because I just could not get there.
I got close enough.
I got close enough. That's kind of how I felt.
Right. And I didn't see, I've seen posted that the lantern with the actual flame is down there, like being kept okay, which then, because now I see the cauldron and then I realize it's not the real flame and they still have to baby the flame because the flame has to be alive. And then that makes me like the cauldron, the sustainability cauldron. It's not getting much better than the snow flame.
Really?
I mean, the snow flame was... I have a thing for the fire. And I get that they're mimicking it, but you know it's fake. Deep down, it's fake.
Though it is really beautiful at night when they put it up in the air.
It is
and
really
then
cool.
It comes down in the morning. That is a beautiful image.
And we did see them pull it down. Well, we kind of saw them pull it down. We were waiting, and then we turned away, and then all of a sudden it was down.
Not there, because we never got to see it,
Right.
really. But yeah, so had I signed up like a spectator and just gone in, I would not have such a negative experience. And that seems to be the running theme. We hear from spectators they've had such a great time
Yeah.
because Games Wide Open, they really did that for not broadcast press. They said, game's not for you.
Yeah. It's been a struggle. It's been hard finding where to go. It's been hard getting there. I see, and I try not to be grumpy because I realize how much fun the spectators are having, or when we go through spectator areas and spectator entrance areas to go find our entrance, and I see all of the volunteers who are like, let me take your picture, let me do this, let me do that for you, and let's have fun. And I can see everybody getting hyped, and when you're going to an event of this magnitude and you're going for fun, it's a lot of fun.
And then to have our experience be so not that.
Yeah, and there's been ups and downs, but I'm trying to get the ups back into the upswing.
Maybe we should go up in the cauldron.
Oh, that would be cool.
My flying taxi replaced with a hot air balloon.
Driven by Pierre and Alice.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, table tennis.
Now for something completely different.
Table tennis, we had the end of the women's competition. The women's team, bronze medal final. Korea beat Germany 3-0. And in the gold medal final, China beat Japan 3-0. So we have gold to China, silver to Japan, and bronze to Korea. In Taekwondo, we had the men's over 80 kilogram medal finals. Gold went to Aryan Salimi from Iran. Silver went to Caden Cunningham from Great Britain. Bronzes went to Cheikh Salah Sisi from Cote d'Ivoire and Rafael Alba from Cuba. And in the women's plus 67 kilogram medal finals, gold went to Althea Laurent from France. That must have been a night to be in the Grand Palais.
I did walk by the Grand Palais in my adventure today, and you really can hear the cheering from the outside. It's amazing.
Silver went to Svetlana Osipova from Uzbekistan, and bronzes went to Lee Dabin from Korea and Nafia Kusaydin from Turkey. In track cycling, we have a message somewhere, might be from Patrick, who talked about how we haven't seen Cuba in a lot of the medals, and there's something about a bunch of people defected. Did you get that message?
I don't remember
I don't know.
that.
Okay.
Okay, we'll look into that.
We had the men's Madison final today in the list of track cycling events. Gold went to Portugal, the team of Yuri Leitao and Rui Oliveira. Silver went to Italy's Simone Cassoni and Ella Viviani. And bronze went to Denmark's Nicholas Larsson and Michael Morkov. And in volleyball, we had the women's bronze medal game, which Brazil beat Turkey 3-1. And then the men's gold medal game, France beat Poland 3-0. And I got to the venue media center with France they were working towards match point. Well, okay, there was a fair amount of the game left, and then I went to the bathroom.
And we know what happened there.
Yes. So getting back, we were on match point, and I was like, oh, I guess it's too late to go over there. Because I thought maybe if Poland won a game, then I would go over. We had 6 match points.
Wow.
At least in that final game that France pulled out to win. But I can tell you that place was hopping. There were so many fans going into that game. It was going to be just an amazing one to watch.
Probably better you weren't there because the monster block scaffolding shaking.
Yeah, I know. I was a little worried about that. But it was almost like, oh, I really
It's
want
worth
to go.
it. It's
I
worth
really
it
want
to die to see
but-
this game.
But I did go to weightlifting, and that's totally different. Coming up, gold goes to France, silver to Poland, and bronze to the U.S. In water polo, we had men's classification matches. Italy beat Australia 10-0. We had women's classification matches. Greece beat Canada 19-10. Hungary beat Italy 15-12. And then we had the women's bronze medal game. Netherlands beat the U.S. 11-10. So the U.S., which was the 3-time gold medal champions, going home without a medal. And this was tough because the U.S. was in control of the game until the final 4 minutes. Netherlands goes on an offensive tear. Vivian Sevenich from Netherlands scored twice within the 30 seconds. So they're now 10-9. They got an extra player goal with a minute 20 left. That made it 10-10. And then with 1 second left, Sabrina van der Sloot scored and took away the women's medal hopes. In the gold medal game, Spain beat Australia 11-9. So our medal podium is Spain at gold, silver goes to Australia, and bronze to Netherlands. Weightlifting. So I saw most of a weight class. I got in during the snatch, and then they had the clean and jerk. If I was disappointed about not going to the crazy fan commotion of volleyball, there was a totally different kind of raucous fan at weightlifting.
Really? Okay.
It was fascinating. It was so cool. There was one guy from Uzbekistan was getting people to clap for everybody. Everyone's yelling for people to make lifts. If some of the competitors, when they're approaching the platform, they'll yell something in their language, and a few people in the, their fans will yell something right back to them.
Like a call and response.
Yes, it was acting. It's like, let's go, and then be like, yeah, come on, in whatever language they're talking, because there were multiple athletes who did that. We came close to seeing a world and Olympic record being set. So much chaos going on, and we didn't even see the backstage camera for a while. It came out eventually, but so much changing of weights and people going up and really trying to be strategic about it. The other thing is when you are watching, what you don't see and what you don't feel by being there when you're there in person, you see the weights getting slammed down. You also feel them getting slammed down. And where we were in the old Handball, the original Handball
That's
venue,
a
I
pretty
think.
small
Yeah,
venue.
it was kind of a small venue. And that weight, when they slam them down, I want to know how they support that podium. Because these men are lifting hundreds of kilograms. And when they slam them down, because they've made their lift, that shakes the entire venue. So you see them bounce and you hear them bounce off that podium. That shakes, and then it kind of ripples back to where I was vibrating in the podium in the media tribune. You also don't know that people backstage are doing the same thing, so you will hear weight slam at different points.
Oh, so they're practicing.
They're practicing back there too. Oh, like warming up and stuff. So they'll still slam stuff down until you hear blam. And then you'll kind of feel some of those too. It was really incredible. So you have that paired with these raucous fans. And then right at the end, I realized that, all the referees are all dressed in suits. And then I remembered all of those suits have Swedish pockets. And we still don't know what Swedish pockets are.
Okay, so let's explain Swedish pockets. So it's years ago now.
When we first talked weightlifting, I somehow got into, because we talked with a referee.
Right. So we were talking about the uniforms, and so we went down the rabbit hole of finding the guidelines for the uniforms. And there was all these tailoring instructions, and one of them involved that the jacket must have Swedish pockets.
It's the jacket. It might be the trousers.
And we have asked seamstresses, we have asked tailors, we have asked people in different countries. Nobody seems to be able to identify exactly what makes a pocket Swedish.
Right. And so I immediately thought, can I get to one person at that table and ask? And I look at the list of judges, and there's like one guy from the U.S., but I don't think he's wearing the suit. So that's a problem. I couldn't figure out if anybody would speak English and not look at me like I was just absolutely nuts for A, knowing that existed, and B,
asking the question.
Yes, exactly. And then the entrance to the main floor was chained off and monitored by volunteers, and I didn't need to get into it with them. So
you didn't need to try to explain in a second language to the volunteer that you really wanted to learn about Swedish pockets.
Just have to say hello to a referee. So I thought maybe somebody would be in the press office in the venue center, the media center. No, and I figured that they were all still working with the competition, and it was time for me to move on. So I think that because I did look up the uniform requirements and the Swedish pockets are still in there, because that's what's on the website, I'm going to have to send an email
to explain what Swedish pockets are. We need this answer.
We do need this answer. All right.
We have been haunted by Swedish pockets for years.
Years. So I saw the men's 102 kilogram final. China's Liu Huanhua won gold. Silver went to Akbar Jurarev from Uzbekistan, and Yao Haney Tsikantsu from neutral athletes won the bronze. It was really fun. I gotta say, Ruth from Olympopod loves weightlifting. She is so totally right. This was a fun event to watch. In the women's 81 kilogram final, gold went to Solfrid Kwanda from Norway with an Olympic record. Silver went to Sarah Ahmed from Egypt, and bronze went to Nessie Patricia Dalyomas Barrera from Ecuador.
So Kwanda got an Olympic record both for total and for the clean and jerk.
Very nice. And in the men's over 102 kilogram final, gold went to Lasha Talakazi from Georgia. Silver went to Varjdat Lalayan from Armenia. And bronze went to Gor Minasyan from Bahrain. Talakazi is a 3-time Olympic champion in 3 Olympic Games. And it's I'm hopeful that weightlifting is around the corner with their issues, because they've had a lot of issues with doping. They've had a lot of issues with
judging
and lack of transfer. Yes. Oh, and there were some reviews today, and we couldn't always tell because they were really good about putting them up on the screen. Sometimes the judges had to use the big screen for video review. Sometimes they got to use a different kind of review. And or their own video screens for video review. And they were probably correct, but it was a lot. Nobody got their lift revoked. And, of course, everybody booed.
Do Georgians boo better than American audiences?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a different kind of booing, but it was still fun. It was just, it's a good time. There's nothing like people loving other people lift as much weight as possible. In wrestling, we had finals in the men's 74 kilogram freestyle. Gold went to Rasenbek Zalimov from Uzbekistan. Silver went to Takatani Daiichi from Japan. Bronzes went to Kyle Dake from the U.S. and Chairman Valiev from Albania. This is the second career bronze for Kyle Dake, who made an amazing comeback in the final minute of his match to defeat Hatik Kabalov of Serbia 10-4. In the 125 kilogram freestyle finals, gold went to Gino Petrasavili from Georgia. Silver went to Amir Hossein Azari from Iran. And gold went to Taha...
Bronze.
Oh, I'm sorry. Bronzes went to Taha Akgul from Turkey and Georgi Meshvildishvili from Azerbaijan. In the women's 62 kilogram freestyle, gold went to Matoki Sakura from Japan. Silver went to Irina Kolyadenko from Ukraine. Bronze went to Asilu Tinibekova from Kyrgyzstan and Grace Jacob Bullen from Norway. And that wraps up a big day.
No, it's always amazing to me how the last couple days we still have events tomorrow.
We do.
We still have Shukflastani's competing tomorrow.
Yes.
We still have things going on, and then we've got closing ceremony. So maybe we'll get some rest tonight. Tomorrow's going to be a late night.
Yes. But it'll be it. It's hard to believe. We are finally saying au revoir to the Paris Olympics.
But before we do that, we have one last day with our official Shukflastan mascot, Theodore. Thea's family has been reunited after their adventures from Paris, and we are sure Thea's happy to have his pack back with him. So something that we say in my house with our dog is the pack stays together. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure Theodore feels very strongly that the pack stays together. So thanks so much to Superfan Sarah for sharing Theo with Shukflastan and for supporting the Kickstarter campaign that got us to Paris.
And we have more medals for Shukflastan.
We added a gold and 2 silvers, so that is 7 golds, 10 silvers, and 5 bronze.
Very nice. And as you said, Shukflastanis are competing tomorrow.
Yes, so Fiona O'Keefe runs in the women's marathon. Jordan Larson and Team USA plays for gold in women's volleyball. And Ben Halleck and Team USA play for bronze in men's water polo.
Excellent. And we have some shout-outs to our Kickstarters.
So to Erica C., Sarah Patton, and Amy Card, thank you so much for helping us get here.
Exactly. And for those of you who were in the postcard level, I mailed your postcards today from the Media Center. So they've got special Paris 2024 stamps and their special Paris 2024 La Poste postcards. So I'm very excited to get those out to you. And that is going to do it for this episode. Special thank you to our researcher, Annalie Dable.
And to get in touch with us while we are staying in Paris, find us on X, YouTube, and Instagram at FlameAlivePod. Send us an email at flamealivepod@gmail.com. Call or text us at 208-352-6348. That's 208-FLAME-IT. Chat with us and other fans on our very busy Facebook group, Keep the Flame Alive Podcast. And you can still get our daily special newsletter at our website, flamealivepod.com.
Join us again tomorrow for more action from Paris. And please don't forget to tell a friend about the show and hang out with us in the Facebook group. Thank you so much for listening, and until tomorrow, keep the flame alive.